For this class, all you'll need is a mat and maybe a scarf or hand towel. And we're gonna start kneeling in the middle of the mat. Send your knees wider than you, and then grab your object that you grab and just roll it a few times. And once it's rolled, doesn't matter how thick it is, just place each elbow onto it and then forehead down, and then let your hands just fall on top of your shoulder blades. Take this time to let your breath deepen, maybe your eyes close. And allow your inhales to really let your belly expand and your ribs as well. And exhale, let your pelvis drop a little heavier between your thighs. Let your chest fall a little heavier to the floor. Inhale, shoulder blades soften. And exhale, out the mouth, let it all go. So really opening up through the sides of the waist. Maybe feeling a nice stretch through those triceps. And just take 2 more breaths. Forehead is heavy. Extend your elbows, maybe tent up to fingertips. And then slowly start to look up and then walk your hands all the way back to those knees. Come up to a seated position. You're gonna cross one ankle in front of the other and then take your object and place it at those bottom back ribs here. So walk your hands in to grab that object so your elbows are kissing your side body. Good, and then just sitting up tall as you can on the tail, stacking those shoulders over your hips. Take another breath, maybe soft eyes, wide ribs. Use your exhale to let your ribs start to knit towards each other and soften down as your belly gently pulls to the spine. Feeling that narrowing through the waist. Inhale, really press those back ribs into your scarf or towel. And then allow on your exhale, your shoulder blades to fall away from those ears, your front ribs to knit, and your belly button pull to the spine. Good. So we have this traction here. You're inhaling wide into the towel, sides and back, and then feel your frontal ribs knit in, and they start to float back towards those back ribs. Good. So you should feel even taller, a little more length through the spine. One more time. Exhale, front ribs knit, belly pulls in and up, and just feel really stacked and tall here. Good. Reverse the cross. We're gonna add on, inhale. Start to open your right hand, gaze, shoulder, and just breathe here in this rotation, and breathe especially into that right back lung. And then use your exhale to return back to center. And then left hand, heart, eyes, just rotate to the left, breathe in, especially into that left back lung, and then return back to center. So thoracic rotation here, you're just looking to your right, and through center, and then left. So our pelvis stays really neutral here. Both hips square to the wall in front of you. Keep going. So expanding, both ribs are actively pressing back still into your towel. And then exhale through center, and then over to the left. Keep pressing those ribs back, back, back. Keep rotating, 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 and then exhaling, return to center. One more to each side. And left. And rest. Rest the towel for a second. One more thing with it. Soles of the feet together. You're gonna wrap it over your metatarsals. So over the toes. Give a nice snag to that towel so your elbows are still into your side body. Really pull towards the towel as your chest and gaze starts to lift up. Take a breath here and use your exhale. Let your ribs soften back down. Tuck the tailbone and start to round the spine back. Your arms may straighten. Inhale, reach your chest forward, up and out. And then scoop the abs in, frontal ribs soften down around the spine. So essentially this is a cat-cow. You're gonna inhale, look up, exhale, round. Inhale, and then exhale. And you're going to initiate this movement from your pelvis. You can stay at your own pace here, or start to speed it up. You've got 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rise up, look straight ahead. Maybe get a bigger snag at that towel and widen your chest. Bring your heart through and try to find a nice hinge and stretch here. Inhale to go taller. Then see on your exhale if you could pull on that towel and reach your chest further forward and out. If your elbows are on your thighs, pull your elbows down into those thighs. One more breath here, really widen to your ribs. Pull your chest forward more. Good, and then come on upright. Nice work with that towel or scarf, and then we're gonna set it to the side, roll down onto your back, and then knees are bent. Feet are flat on the mat. Let's fold our right knee in towards our chest. Hips as square as possible. Just start to stir your right knee. Femur bone, whole thigh bone in the socket. And then maybe you'll reverse the direction. And then slide your left leg long. Flex your left toes back. Left leg is super active as well. Extend your right leg as best you can up to the ceiling, interlacing your hands behind your right thigh. Soften the shoulders down and just start to point your foot and flex it. So the right leg certainly doesn't need to be straight. Just pull that thigh slightly towards you. Slight bend of that right knee where you feel that resistance. Good. Let your ribs soften down. And maybe you want to roll it in a circle. And wherever you are, keep your right foot flexed. Reach for your big toe with your peace fingers. And if that's not accessible, grab hold of your right calf or outer right foot, and then open your right leg slightly out to the right. Place your left hand on your hip so you know it stays pinned down, and start to bend your right knee in towards your right armpit. Right foot is still facing the ceiling, the sole of that foot, and you're in a half happy baby. Good. Keep the collarbone broad. You can always move a little bit in this position. I like to try to extend my knee and bend my knee. And just, again, check in at your left heel, left hamstring's grounded in opposition. And then you're gonna bring that leg through center, and then you're gonna cross that leg all the way to the left. Let your right hip peel off the mat. Look over your right shoulder and right palm is up to the ceiling. Few moments here, finding a nice twist in that low back. A few more cycles of breath, allowing your neck to ease and shoulders. One more cycle of breath. Use the next exhale to bring the right knee back in through center. Place the right foot down, bend your left knee in. Left knee is going to fold all the way on in. Good, again, give that femur bone a little stir in the socket. And the other side. Good, and then left leg extends, and you can always keep your right leg bent or try extending it here. Right foot is flexed, left foot is flexed. Soften the back of that left knee. You want to keep that left hip really square in line with your right hip, right? And again, you can point that foot, flex it, just trying to open up the belly of that hamstring a little more. Gently pulling that thigh towards you. Good. One more breath here. And then once the left foot's flexed, reach for that big toe with your peace finger. Right hand to your hip as you open your left leg out to the left. Bend your left knee in towards your left armpit. Good, you can stay here, kind of rock side to side. Bend and extend that knee. Good, and just check that that right heel, right hamstring's weighted to the ground. Soft ribs. Good. Take another breath, leg is bent, and then bring it through center. Let that left leg cross all the way over to the right. Left arm reaches out to the left. Look over your left shoulder and breathe in. Exhale out. Another cycle of breath in. Skull heavy, shoulders soft. Exhale. One more breath in. Returning that leg in through center on your exhale. Give it a little tug and extend it long. Perfect. Both knees are gonna hug into the chest. Grab hold of the back of the thighs and then start to curl your head, heart, and shoulders up. Roll a few times up to a seated position and then cross your ankles and come to all fours. Perfect. In this all fours position, you can always flip a wrist, maybe one at a time, and just shift the weight forward and back. Forward with your heart, back with the tail. And maybe you want to turn this into circles. Just being good to these wrists. Nice. And once you've had a nice even number on one side and the other, you will make your way to a normal flip wrist. Good. Shoulders over your wrist. Good. From here, I want you to actually come up to kneeling. I want you to step just your left foot forward here, left knee over left ankle, and then tuck your tailbone slightly under so your right glute is engaged. Left hand outside of left knee, you reach your right arm forward. And just like we did earlier, you're gonna follow your hand and look over your right shoulder. So you're gonna look back and pause. Inhale to find a little more length and space through both obliques. See if you can deepen that stretch on your exhale. One more cycle of breath in. Breathe into those back ribs and then return it back to center. Right hand comes to the floor, right leg extends to straight. You're gonna rotate now your chest, breast to the left arm reaches up to the ceiling. Keep the hips lifted and square. Good, left hand's gonna circle back and down and around. So we're just gonna do a few stirs of that arm bone up and around. One more time. Good, and then reverse it. Mobility of those shoulders, reach it out and around. One more time. Plant it outside that left hand. Square your hips off again as you straighten as much as you can that front leg. Drop your head. Inhale, bend your front knee. And then use your exhale to straighten as much as you can. Really press into the entire left foot. Big toe ball mound, pinky toe ball mound. And keep thinking of that left hip reaching back. Good. Hold it. Take a breath. You're going to just find a nice passive plank here. All 4 points grounded. Heart lengthening forward, and we're holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rest your knees down. Come back to that kneeling position. Right foot forward, right knee directly over that right ankle. Tuck your tailbone under, left glute is slightly engaged. Right hand outside of right knee, so it's actively opening out to the right. Left arm forward, inhale, start to open your left arm, your gaze to the left. Pause here. I want you to really expand those back ribs again, especially that left back lung, and rotate a little more. One more cycle of breath in. See if you can deepen the rotation. Exhale out. Good. Come back through center, left hand to the floor. Extend your back leg, left leg is straight. Rotate your chest, breast to the right. Right arm reaches up, look up, maybe lengthen that left shoulder blade back a little more. And start to circle that right arm back, down and around. Big circles. 2. And then you reverse it for 3. Out, back and around. 2. Last one. Plant it down, right outside that right foot, and then fold. Right leg straightens as best you can. Dial that right hip back. Bend your front knee and look forward. 2 more times. Opening up through that right hamstring again. 1 more. Good. We're going to step again back out to that plank. Nice broad collarbones. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, front ribs knit, belly to spine. 2 more cycles of breath. Nice strong legs. Push down to the palms and reach your heart forward. Good. Tap the knees down. Take a child's pose. We're going to come to seated. Again, in the middle of our mat. Extend your legs out a little wider. Left foot's gonna fold in, so it's right in that right inner thigh. And then you're gonna reach your arms out to a T position. Look and rotate to your right foot, right thigh, and you're gonna start to round your spine as if your nose can kiss your knee. Keep your left hip grounded. Good, and come all the way upright. Turn to face the wall in front of you, right hand to the floor, and you're gonna reach for those toes. You're gonna come all the way upright, rotate, so your chest, breast splits that right thigh, and you round. Grow taller, come through center, and you're gonna side bend, try to touch and reach for that right foot. Good. 3 more. 2. 1 more. Face that foot and come on up. Take your right leg and fold it. Do your best to try to sit down onto both sit bones. So you might need to give yourself a little booster seat. Take an inhale, you're looking straight ahead. Now the goal is to come up. So you're gonna reach your heart forward, find a nice little hinge through both hips, and then rise up, pressing both hips forward. And then reach your tailbone back, find that nice deep fold through both hips, and sit back down. So your heart reaches forward, those shoulders hinge, press the hips forward, hips back, and down. If this is like too much for you today, you're like, oh, let's maybe start with peeling one hip up and down, one hip down, up and down, so you get that mobility, and then ideally both hips will lift. Straight forward and out. Good. 3-ish more. 2. 1 more. Take a seat. Without using your hands, swing those legs around. Find a tabletop position. Maybe arms reach forward to the wall in front of you. Good, holding it here for 5. Again, front ribs knit, belly to spine for 4. 3, now if you want more, stick with me. 2, bring your hands to the sides of your mat. Tap your toes on the breath in, and then exhale, float them back up to tabletop. Tap and lift. We're here for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a breath. Maybe your legs extend, they turn out. Open the legs and plant them down. Getting into the other side, we're gonna bend our right foot in to our inner left thigh. Sitting up tall, arms out to the T. Take a breath, you're gonna rotate to that left thigh and then round your spine. Think knee to nose. Try to keep that right hip grounded. And then stack the spine up tall. Come through center. You're gonna take your left hand to the floor and start to reach for that left foot. Side bend, and then come all the way upright. Rotate to your thigh. Try to split your chest to that thigh. Stack the spine up tall, take a breath. And we're gonna side bend, reaching over to that foot. Keep going here. Doing your best to keep evenly in both hips. 3, 2, 1 more. Stay round and stack it all the way on up. Keep your right foot where it is, bend at your left knee. So your right shin is parallel to the wall in front of you. Checking in on this hip. Each hip is gonna feel a little different. So try to evenly sit on both sit bones. You'll get there. From here, hinge from both hips as much as you possibly can. Chest, sternum reaching forward, you're gonna rise up, pressing both hip bones forward to the wall in front of you. Then hinge at the hips, take a seat, and come back down. So you shift, hinge, lift, hinge, and then bring your shoulders back over those hips. Good, keep going for about 7 more here. Good, and again, you can always go back to just lifting one hip up if this is too much for you today. So the left hip just lifts, press it forward and down, press it forward and down. Both hips forward, both hips down. 2 more. One more. Now again, let's get our legs around without using our hands. Find your tabletop position again. This time, drop one forearm down, the other forearm down. So fingertips are facing your butt, chest is proud, watch you're not sinking in the shoulders, ribs in. From here, both toes, again, are gonna reach the mat, but thighs are gonna lower down a few inches, and then they exhale, lift. So both thighs lower, and then they lift. So pretend you have one foot, one leg. Good. Front ribs knitting together and down. Whew. Your range of movement may be smaller. As much as you can keep the spine tall. 3. Wide clavicles. 2. One more thing here. Hold the legs up. Maybe extend them to straight. They can always stay bent. Both knees go to the right. Left hip heels off the mat. And then back to center. And then both knees over to the left. Right hip heels off the mat. So again, your legs can straighten for a little more challenge, a little more weight for those obliques. So again, now stabilizing that torso and moving in our pelvis. Good. Wherever you are, give me 4. Eyes straight ahead, chin parallel to that floor. 3, 2, 1 more. Find center, drop your feet down, and then extend your legs long, everyone. Reach your arms forward as you roll down to this nice shape of an X. So just drop here, cooling down now. Settle the shoulders and the ribs. And then I want you to try to really think of your right arm and left foot. Right hand, right foot lengthening even further away from each other. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Think of it, and then let it go. And then left hand reaches further away from that right foot. Just stretch, stretch, stretch in opposition. And then let that go. Good. This time, you want your left ankle to cross over your right, and then grab hold of your left wrist with your right hand. So you're gonna be more of like a banana shape, and just kind of arc the spine here, opening up through the side body. One more time. Can we find a little more reach for that left heel away and out? And then return back to that X shape. Right ankle crosses over left ankle. Left hand grabs hold of your right wrist. And you're gonna side bend here, like a little banana. Breathe and open up those right intercostal muscles. Flex the right foot and reach your right heel away as your ribs settle down. One more cycle of breath. And out. Come back to that X shape. Good. Arms down by your sides, bend your knees. Give your knees a little tick-tock side to side. Knees go to the right. Take your left leg, cross it, like left ankle over that knee, and just stay here for another stretch. Maybe get into that hip a little bit more. Return back to center. Good. Right ankle over left, and then take those knees over to the left. Come back through center. Hug yourself, guys. Pull those knees in. Give yourself a good squeeze. Nod your chin. Relax your shoulders here. And then start to roll forward and back until you come up to seated. And you guys are all done.